Dunearn House is launching soon in July, and about 60% of the projects are expected to be below 3 million. And for this part of Bukit Timah, it's not something that we see very often. And before we talk about Dunearn House, I think we should also take a look at what else can we get in Bukit Timah for 3 million. I can see why people are very excited about the Dunearn House launch because you are near the 6th Avenue MRT, you are in the Bukit Timah address, and you are also buying into the area where there will be a transformation in the next 10 to 15 years. And that is a very big reason why Dunearn House is also attracting so much attention. And one thing that you are probably hearing very often is that there will be a future HDB upgrader demand that is coming from the Turf City. And personally, I think it's more of a marketing angle and a little bit of an oversell, and wouldn't place too much weight on that because the future HDB there are going to be prime projects likely, and even if they launch soon, they are probably going to MOP sometime in 2040, and that's really a long way. And if I'm buying Dunearn House today, it is not the buyer pool that I'll be relying on when I want to exit in the resale market in the next 4 to 5 years. And the transformation itself is real. There will be new homes, new amenities, but how much of that future transformation is already reflected in the launch price today? Because transformation takes time, but not every transformation turns out exactly as planned. Right beside Dunearn House is another GLS site, and that site was sold at a land price roughly 15% higher than Dunearn House. So in simpler terms, it means that the next developer needs to launch at a higher PSF just to make the number works. And that's actually one of Dunearn House advantage, because if the next project is going to be launching at a higher PSF, it helps to create a price ceiling above Dunearn House. So if you are buying Dunearn House today at launch, you are potentially entering before the next benchmark sets in. And I think this is something worth paying attention to. And I think we also need to look at the surrounding projects to understand the competition. And one thing that I found interesting is that these projects are actually across different districts. So if you look at Dunearn House is located here in District 11. And just across the road, you have Tessarina, 6th Avenue and 4th Avenue. These are projects in District 10. And if you go further down the road, this stretch of freehold condos like Cascadia, Maplewood and Floridian, they are in District 21. So if you are familiar with this area, these condos are not your boutique freehold condos. They are actually condos 300 to 500 units, and they are sitting on a relatively large land size with full condo facilities. So they are definitely going to be a competition in the resale market. And for parents who have schools in mind in this area like MGS and Nanyang Primary School, to get their kids into this school, they will look at the properties that's around the school within 1 km and not in the same district. That is why I think comparing the projects that are in the immediate surrounding project is more fair, and definitely more fair than comparing within the same district, because District 11 also includes condos that stretches all the way to Newton Novena site, which to me is a totally different area. And if you are banking into the Turf City transformation story, then these projects will also benefit from the transformation story. And if you look at the nearby condos, there's few minutes down the road, they are mostly freehold. And why are people still buying into these older freehold? These condos are not new. Some of them are already 15-year-old, some even more than 20 years old. And yet buyers are still paying close to 3 million for them. Why? Because there could be few reasons. Firstly is the space. So a typical 3-bedroom in this freehold condo are around 1,200 to 1,400 square feet. And I mean, even if we take away the aircon latch and even all the bay windows today, you probably still have around 1,100 square feet of space. And that's becoming a bit harder to find in today's new launch. And second, the freehold tenure. So whether we like it or not, this area, the people tend to place more weight on freehold rather than other parts of Singapore, especially for the landed downgraders that are nearby, or parents even staying nearby, they are buying for their children. And thirdly, Bukit Timah's identity has always been around schools. And for some families, schools are not just a bonus. They are one of the main reasons why families are looking to buy houses here. So once we understand why people are paying over $3 million for the older resale condos here, then the next question is who will actually be buying Dunearn House? So looking at the unit mix here, you will notice that more than 50% consists of the 3 and 4 bedders. And that's a huge clue that the developer is trying to attract more of the family profiles for this launch. So who do I think will be buying Dunearn House? If we first take a look at the break-even price for Dunearn House, meaning what the developer needs to charge just not to lose money, it is around 2558 PSF. And assuming that developer is looking at a 15 to 20% profit margin, we'll be looking at a launch price to start somewhere around 2950 to 3050 PSF. And the average PSF will be around 3150 to 3250. So what does that mean for you? The smallest 3-bedroom at 872 square feet, at average PSF 3150, you'll be looking at around 2.75 million. And for the 3 plus study at 947 square feet, at around average 3150 PSF, you'll be looking at $2.98 million. And that's actually quite competitive with the resale condos around. And it also means that you are able to enter the Bukit Timah neighbourhood at a similar price or even lower as the surrounding condos. And I think that one group of people who will be buying Dunearn would be the private condo or the HDB upgraders from the neighbouring district like Queenstown, Clementi, or even Toa Payoh, because their houses have appreciated, families are growing, and they are now probably looking for a longer term home. And the second group of buyers will probably be the parents that are from the surrounding private condos or landed areas, funding their kids to purchase a unit nearby. So based on my observation from recent new launches like Zion Grand in River Valley or Sky at Holland, there are quite a number of young buyers who are getting their first home, receiving some financial support from their families or parents living in the area. Now, Bukit Timah identity has been always around schools, but I don't think Dunearn House is really a school priority play. Why? Because MGS may or may not be within 1 km radius, and Raffles Girls Primary and Nanyang are in the 1 to 2 km radius. And any parents who is going through the primary 1 registration, they will know that once you are out of this 1 km radius, the balloting becomes tougher. So for serious school buyers, this will probably not be the project that they will be looking at. And this is important because the people who are buying into this project often determines who will buy from you later in the resale market. And you probably start to wonder something. If Dunearn House is going to launch above 2950 PSF in an area where freehold condos are still transacting around 2500 PSF, so would it underperform? And one way to look at it is the closest comparable that we have, which is 4th Avenue Residences. It's in the same area, leasehold, TOP in 2022, and at the point of time when the project was launched, buyers are also entering at around 600 PSF higher than the surrounding freehold condos. And owners who have bought it at launch profited much less across every unit type compared to the Link and Forex at Bukit Timah. And although those were also launched around the same period of time. So if you look at the 2-bedroom, this is 100 plus K, 300 plus K, and 200 plus K. And for the 3-bedroom, this is 300 plus K, 400 plus K, and this is 400 plus K. So Dunearn House will it underperform as well. So let's take a look at why 4th Avenue underperformed in the first place. So if you look at 4th Avenue unit mix, you will notice that it is more investor oriented. So a large portion of the projects are actually the 1 and 2 bedder. And that means that owners who eventually sell, many of them are competing for the same buyer pool. But Dunearn House is a little bit different. There is no 1-bedroom units, and more than half the projects are actually the 3 and the 4 bedders. So the buyer profile is very different. So would I buy Dunearn House? So if Dunearn House launched above 3100 PSF on average, then I'll probably avoid. Why? Because if I enter today at 3100 PSF and I want to make the kind of profit that the Link and Flora owners make, around 400k to 500k profit for the 3 bedders over 4 years, that means that I need to sell around 3005 to 3006 PSF when I want to exit. So will buyers in the resale market be ready to pay for that kind of price in the area? I genuinely don't know, and I don't have a clear answer. But I can see why Dunearn House will appeal to a different group of buyers. People who want a newer home and don't mind a smaller space, and they want to get into the Bukit Timah under 3 million. And people who also believe in the long-term transformation story of the Turf City. I think Dunearn House will sell well, but the question is whether the risk of entering a project today at 3100 PSF over the surrounding freehold condo is worth taking. So to summarize, here's what I think about it. Dunearn House is not a school play, it is an entry point play. It gives a new group of buyers who wants brand new a way to enter Bukit Timah at a lower quantum than the surrounding condos. And above 3,100 PSF, I think the older condos are a bit hard to ignore. Why? Because you get more space, the freehold tenure, and you also get the Bukit Timah address. And that's a trade-off and also a question that buyers in the area is going to face. And if you are looking at Dunearn House and you want the transaction data of 4 plans that I have been working with, just drop me a DM. And if you found this useful, do subscribe to my channel. It will really encourage me to do more content like this. See you in the next video.